Well, hello and welcome for another wonderful day at our Balanced Body Peaceful Mind Summit. Today, I'm excited to introduce an amazing person that changed so many lives in a profound way, Dr. Alejandra Orozco-Quintero. She bridges scientific research and spiritual healing. Born in Colombia with Wayuu roots, she has worked across Africa and Americas, documenting community experiences and championing conservation and land rights. As a Psych-K facilitator, she helps individuals release limiting beliefs and heal emotional patterns, recognizing how culture and life shape our relationship with food, body, and health. Her project, the researcher's Dharma, explores blending science with heart-centered awareness for personal and systemic transformation. Hello and welcome, Dr. Alejandra.
Hello, so lovely to be here with you and your audience. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much for being here. So your journey is fascinating. You're just amazing. So it blends research and healing. So how did you come to integrate science and heart-centered healing?
so, during my time in East Africa, while I was doing my doctoral research, and also being an independent researcher, I came across this deep awareness that no amount of intellectual effort could allow me to help people to feel free and to feel empowered. I could give them very cool, important scientific insights they could use to address their land rights. But that was not enough to make them feel whole, to make them walk in a different way, whenever they were in those spaces where they were fighting for their rights. So that was quite a realization for me. At that time, I was also raising two lovely kids who, without saying words, were telling me that I needed to change more than I was asking them to change or behave, So that realization was like, whoa. Okay, so I started to research and I came across psychological kinesiology. I started to do my own personal research and came across psychological kinesiology. And that's when I came to this awareness that my beliefs, my emotions, my thinking patterns were shaping my entire reality. So at that point, it's like, oh, what do I do with this? Like I was having fun intellectually. I was creating things, addressing human rights. I mean, very heartbreaking and at the same time making you feel so useful to address real things in the world. But my goodness, emotionally, I was not doing so well. And I'm a very passionate Latina, by origin. So it's like a mix of things. So at that point is that I started my journey of healing within. And then I connected more that health-centered approach to the integrating that with my scientific way of thinking. And now I do research sometimes when I have the opportunity, and I support the healing of people having the same main purpose, which is to help them to connect to their wholeness. Yeah. Whether it is to a scientific finding, I help them to see that they have power in different ways. Or whether it is to a Psych-K session, it's the same process of helping them to feel empowered within and then being able to change then their surroundings with that. So that has been kind of the connecting those two. Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful how you're connecting those two. Yeah, a lot of people cannot do connections. So that we know we go one way or another. So it's very beautiful that you're blending those together very nicely. So how do you view your role when supporting someone's healing?
So, so let us, I think, let us define the role of a healer or who is a healer, because truly nobody can heal anybody else, but we can accompany other people in their healing process. Healing really comes from within. But a healer, there's this cool thing, a healer to me, this is my individual perception of it. A healer is somebody that is in this process of expansion and has come to not be afraid of her own shadows, and he's falling in love with his or her own light. So the combination of that is like you are open to be vulnerable and to support others in that process of becoming vulnerable and human and beautiful and falling in love with themselves. That creates some sort of field that impacts the field of existence, that creates a frequency that really influences others. So I think that's the power we have. And yeah, so in my case, I feel that my superpower, if we can call it that way, I always have fun with this, it moves my heart. I am right now, I can feel I am in my heart and my vibration is high because I just keep laughing. You know, I'm really enjoying this process now. So, but I think my superpower is that I can see light even when light seems absent. And I have used that in research, and now I am using that in healing. So it's like I come and I am like, okay, even when the person feels so small and feels powerless, I can see they have power, but then they are not using it. So that process of me connecting to them is this very so sacred, so powerful moments where I help them to see where they are. We work with their subconscious, what is in their subconscious, and we transmute that. And then I have witnessed things that I cannot quite describe, but they truly, the feel, the aura changes. When you release something that doesn't serve you, you literally change your frequency, and it's like electricity on your body. Even in one case, I felt the electricity on my leg when the person came close. It's like boom, after the balance has taken place. And the balance I guess we will explain later on about it, but is what we do as facilitators of psychological kinesiology to help the person to release what doesn't serve them. So I am in this dance of accompanying people to let go of what doesn't serve them. And you know, sometimes all it takes is for somebody to be in the presence of somebody that loves them just because they are, just because they breathe, just because they exist. Nothing else is required. And I can do that. I am good at that. I love people. So I am like, I can create that space, and then, oh my goodness, even sometimes just that completely lets you let go of burdens, things that, because we are in this constant process of self-judging and judging others. But when you enter in the presence of somebody that is really not judging you, but just loves you and is right there to support you in whatever way you feel you can be supported, that changes the whole game, you know, to me. I think that's why we say in the presence of sages and other people, you know, these very spiritual people, which I am not putting myself there, but I'm telling you, everybody can do it, because with some we can go out of judgment if we are conscious about it. We can drop all judgment and be there so fully in love with whatever it is. So when we do that, my goodness, we change the field, and people around connect to that, and people around join that party of opening, you know, and expanding. Yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful. Your energy is contagious. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. So what is Psych-K is how does a session typically work?
So Psych-K was developed by Rob Williams. It's a method for reprogramming the subconscious in few words. Yeah. So our brain is, the activity in our brain is 95% subconscious. Most of it is subconscious. Only 5% is conscious. So right now I'm using my conscious mind to talk to you, but the language I use is because I have learned a language that's in my subconscious. The moving of my hands, the knowing how to express, the using a second language is because I have learned all those things, and they are stored in the subconscious. So once something is in the subconscious, it becomes automatic. So tapping into that to change it is usually a process. So what happens is that a facilitator of psychological kinesiology, through a process called a balance, helps the person to go into a whole brain state. In the whole brain state, the left hemisphere of the brain comes together with the right hemisphere of the brain. They are together, but they are not working together all the time. So when the person goes in this whole brain state, any condition, any memory stored in the subconscious, may it be trauma, may it be limiting belief, may it be anything, can be transformed right there, right on. So that's what the balance does. And it does it in a matter of minutes. And it can be done remotely, it can be done face to face, it can be done by phone, it can be done in any way. So you imagine me being in my intellectual mind and looking at this method that was originally I heard it through Bruce Lipton. I said, oh, wait, let me check this out. And wow, has it been, I went to the first level. I said, oh no, I'm going through everything here. So I went through the whole training, and yeah, it goes beyond willpower or affirmations. Willpower and affirmations are something that take a little bit of time, to change something that has been there for a long time. With Psych-K, you are tapping straight into the subconscious using applied kinesiology. And right there, right on, you delete or you transform. Something that was painful becomes wisdom. Something that was I cannot becomes an I can. Whatever direction you want to take, you can change it right there. So that's what psychological kinesiology does. And yeah, I love being part of that process. It's my pleasure to see the changes. I am not a person that sees very much, like some people can see things, but I can feel so deeply. When I connect to the energy of the person, oh my goodness, I can feel it. And when they let go, I can feel it too. It's so cool. It's something magic with it. So yeah, I love it. So that's in a few words, but there is more information in different places about it. Yeah, I can share after.
Wow, I'm very curious to learn about it. That's amazing. That's definitely not a difference from our healthcare right now. So that's what my main mission, to kind of bring the awareness that there is more into for the people, more than just the healthcare, that conventional healthcare that we are used to. There's so much more out there, and our brain is amazing. How it can pertain to information, open new pathways, and learn new things that we can't even imagine that we can. Right. So how's your global perspective shaped your understanding of the connection between land, food, and inner healing?
Okay. So there was something interesting about that. I have lived mostly in two continents, the Americas and Africa, but I have been being in three continents, including Europe. And something that has become clear to me is that the environments don't really define people or the level of empowerment of the people, but rather the level of empowerment of the people kind of shapes the environment. So that has been my experience everywhere I have gone. So your cultural practices, your inner awareness, how you see yourself and how you see others, how you see the environment, truly shapes everything in your life, including your relationship with food, including your relationship with nature. So to give specific examples about that, being able to be in so many places with people from so many cultures, there are some cool things I have learned in that process. One is that the stronger your connection to land is, the more sacred you see that relationship with food, for example. What comes from the waters, what comes from the land is sacred, is nourishment. It nourishes you deeply because you hold it as something very special. That's one thing I have seen, I have witnessed. When the other thing I have seen is that when your relationship with yourself is expanding and healthy, oh my goodness, you make very special choices in what you do for others, what you do to the environment, what you do to yourself. It's just the connection is very direct. And I know I'm not saying anything that hasn't been said. I'm just saying what has been my experience, and it connects to much of what has been said. It's truly that way. And that is the coolest one. You know, I'm indigenous. I have an indigenous background. I wasn't raised within my culture very much, but in my teen years, I connected to my culture and it was transformative in every way. But one thing I learned from First Nations in Canada, ethnic communities in Africa, I saw it in all of them, and in my own communities in Latin America that I have been with, is that food, particularly food, because I know you are connecting, you are an author of books that address talk about food and share about food. For these cultures, for these communities, food is medicine, you know, it's just literally medicine. And then that medicine, that vision of it is really connected to that they see themselves as one with the environment. So what comes from you is healing you, you know. So so I love that idea that really food is medicine, and I feel that's the way too, you know, from my own upbringings. So what else can I say? So whether we talk about land rights, whether we talk about food choices, whether we talk about what we do to the environment, it is all connected to the more you honor yourself, the more you honor others. The healthier your relationship is with yourself, the healthier your relationship is with the whole around you. Yeah. And yeah, it's a magic relationship, and it's really our spaces are shaped by ourselves and how we feel about ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally believe that. Yes. And I definitely come in from perspective as a nurse, of a mom too. So if you love yourself, it's the people see it. You exude that love to others and you bring that love to others, but you need to love and kind of work on yourself too. I think it makes a lot of huge difference when you're working on yourself to the people who are around you. So it's very important to take care of yourself. And
indeed,
so
you cannot give something you don't have. You know, we don't know what we don't know. So the more you have this love, the more you give it. And it's something very different than, you know, like what will be being selfish? Like people sometimes ask me, what will be being selfish, Alejandra? Because you talk about self-love, but what will be being selfish? And I say, well, you might notice that something is pushing you towards being selfish when you are putting yourself above anything or anybody else. As long as you can see your wholeness without putting anybody else below you, you are on the right path. You know, that's all it takes. You can see your beauty, then you will see beauty around you. But if when you are trying to put others down, it's because you are not feeling very well with you. You need some company, you know, like misery loves company. So when you feel down, you put others down. So really it's about the better you feel, the more the better your environment becomes and the way you relate to it. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. So how can people balance scientific knowledge with intuition in their healing?
So, okay. So I think there is, it will be useful to talk about this illusion, you know, that they are like in these opposite spectrums, that they are opposite to each other, intuition and knowledge and scientific knowledge, because they are not. You know, every wonderful scientific discovery out there have been inspired by intuition. And when the scientific discovery has been one that has been to the detriment of human beings, it probably was not quite inspired, was inspired by the conditioned mind rather than intuition. But truly, you know that it comes from intuition because it's something beautiful that makes the world a better place. So all of those things you see out there that make the world a better place are based on intuition. That's my perception of it. So now, I will share to connect these two. Allow me to share a real life example, which is the biggest example I have to share everywhere.
Oh, please, I want to hear it.
I had somebody very close to me, very close, that was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And that was at the beginning of my journey as a facilitator of psychological kinesiology. So I remember being in the room where the medical practitioner that was going to do the chemotherapy to her was there answering questions, and I was with her right there. And the question came, okay, so how long does the chemotherapy last? And the answer, not in my words, but the key answer was, oh, she dies of this, and the chemotherapies go to the moment, all the way to the moment she dies. And we finished the meeting, and then we came out of that meeting. And then I don't know, it came to me to just address the person and say, okay, we have always been making choices, always. And now I think you are being invited to see if you can make more conscious choices. How clear can you be about what you are doing, what you are feeling, what you are, the things you want to do. And then, of course, there was worry, there was fear, but there was also very little to lose. Stage 4 cancer is the last stage. Of course, the last stage of cancer, like people is just like, pack your bags sort of thing. Right. So this person was willing to see what was. So I asked, okay, because at that point I was in this guiding mode. I don't know. I said, so what would you like to do? We have just had a science-based method to address cancer. Mm-hmm. Would you want to go with that method, or you want to explore further? And the person is like, what? I don't have so much to lose. Let's explore further. Mm-hmm. So the moment she made that shift, this is incredible. The moment she made that shift, it's like she entered in some sort of different frequency. And you won't believe it, but then a different medical practitioner came to her and said, you know about immunotherapy, which at the point, nothing. I didn't know. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, she learned about it, then she made an appointment, then she was accepted, then she said, oh, this goes with me, and then she just moved, and she had the insurance to cover for everything. It was just boom, like that, and then both chemotherapy and immunotherapy are science-based. Mm-hmm. But look at the difference in it. She realized she kind of became sovereign about what decisions she will make about her life. Mm-hmm. One method is telling her, you are a victim, let others decide for you and try to heal you with whatever is available. Mm-hmm. The other method, immunotherapy, was telling her, oh, your body has a capacity to heal. We support it so it can help you so you can heal yourself. It's very different paradigms driving mm-hmm. the creation of those different science-based methods. So this is where intuition is powerful. Intuition can really help you see what will honor what method is out there. If you have mm-hmm. that question in terms of your health, what method is out there that honors my wholeness, that recognizes my own power to heal? I work with that. This is challenging. I know there are big questions, but we are talking about a stage 4 cancer. I mean, if you are talking about crazy, scary thing, that's one. And this person is so close to me that mm-hmm. it was something we were like, my skin goes like, because of thinking of having that awareness of all this diagnosis is there. So the person is now in her 70s. She's roaming the world, enjoying her life. Wow. After 1 year or so, the cancer was gone. Of course, she did not only just do immunotherapy. I have had to move residence, to change diet, to reconnect to loved ones. And then I had psychological kinesiology. So, okay, let's see what emotional and other mental things have brought you to a place where your body just, came down with this difficult mm-hmm. health issue. So that has been a dance, because this is when you are open to it, the doors will open for you to connect to what you need for your healing. So this is a real life example, and it's happening. The person is alive and nothing is there in terms of cancer. Was gone. It was totally gone. After being, it started in the left kidney. I was spreading all the way to the lungs. When I when I became aware of it, it was on the lungs moving, and there's nothing. It says, how? Of course, you can heal yourself depending on what approaches you use and how you go about being sovereign about your decisions and your actions. Yeah.
It's amazing, amazing story. Thank you for sharing. So I think that we do need to believe in modern medicine, but definitely be open-minded to other options that's out there. And I think forgiveness plays a big role in our healing, in emotional, physical, mental. So I believe in that completely. It's so true, so true, so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Alejandra.
Thank you. No, it's
So what
powerful.
simple practices can our audience to try to start their own healing journey?
Yeah. So this is the coolest part. And I have a podcast because I love addressing these kind of questions. So let me share one from the Far East. This is a very simple practice. Usually, when we, right now, this moment right now, is usually, not always, defined by what we need to do, what needs to happen next, what is still to be done, or what has happened yesterday or sometime else. It's usually our mind is taking it from that place to that place, from past to future, from past to future. It's like being in the present moment is like a puzzle. How do I get there? And there is a very simple way. It's just to watch your breath. Like just focus, just take a look at your in breath and take a look at your out breath. At that moment, you're focusing on that, you are in the present moment. Like your mind needs to go there to that present moment where the breathing is taking place. So from there, you can create something else. Eventually, like I do this all the time. So eventually you are like, you can see your own mind. Look at where the mind is taking me. It wants me to worry about that thing that will happen, may not never happen. So, okay, let the mind go there. Let me be here. And then I go back to my to my breath, and then some ideas come and then I keep having fun creating. So that's one cool one. Just look at your breath, focus on your breath, inhaling, exhaling. And that is being in the present moment. Just that action is being in the present moment. So there is one other one, Alan Watts. I imagine you have heard about him, a philosopher, bright, enlightened person. He once compared life with dancing. And I thought that was just genius because, usually we see life as a goal or as a place to reach or as something to accomplish. But when you say life as dancing, when you're dancing, you're not going anywhere. You're not waiting for the song to finish. You are just dancing. So like that's what if we could do that with life at this moment, what is happening at this moment is like the dance you are taking is taking place at this moment. Dance with it. And if the moment is difficult, is painful, just surrender because something is being learned from it. Something will come out of it. You will expand your container with whatever you go through. It always can be that way. If you define it positively, positively will be your impact. If you define it negatively or damaging, limiting will be the impact. So you truly have that power to define your experience to be useful to you, and useful it becomes just like that. So that's the second one. Let me see what other was. Oh yeah, so there is a simple practice. Before you go to eat, come and say, okay, what can I do to nourish myself with love? Just before you eat, you might get some cool ideas about, even you may change the food choices you were gonna have just because of that question. But the question is just brings you to, how can I nourish myself with love? What does it take? What does it mean? What do I do in this moment? So yeah, or maybe just the food will taste different, just if you try that simple exercise. So there is one I like, is frequency shift. The frequency of wanting is not the frequency of having. So if you are, I want to have better health, well, you could redefine it as, oh, I'm so grateful for the body I have, or whatever you feel grateful about, or whatever you feel happy about, or whatever you are good about. Just go there. Oh, I am happy about this. Oh, I feel grateful about having this. And then you will be in the frequency of having. And if you are in that frequency, you will keep having those things that keep filling you with joy, So one thing doesn't take you to having. You need to change that frequency. That's just something I have been learning through all these years and from many teachers. The other one, which is fundamental, which we all have issues with, is being able to see your worth. Remember that you are worthy just because you are, just because you breathe, just because that's what should be. Not because you have earned it. No. This reality might tell you that, but that's so far from what is true. You are worthy just because you are. Yeah. So remember that. That will take you places. That will help you to connect to yourself in different ways that, are not reachable if we continue to measure ourselves based on what we are able to deliver. So what will the other one? Oh yeah, every morning you could look at the mirror and just say, I see your light, or I see the light in you, to yourself. Just there's a side of that. It's like a way of connecting back to you, a way of acknowledging you, a way of seeing your own beauty. I think that exercise is powerful. And there are just quick two more that come to mind. One is moving away from judgment towards discernment. When you judge, you are putting one thing above the other. This is good, this is bad. When you discern, you are just witnessing the diversity of things happening around you. Oh, this is blue, this is red, this is yellow, this is purple. But you are not thinking blue is better than yellow or purple better than red. No, you are just witnessing the differences. So whenever you are through an experience within yourself or around you that, seems to put you in this state of judgment, at that moment, just become aware. Oh, this experience is helping me to see what I don't prefer to do myself. Thank you. That has been helpful. Or maybe you look at yourself, the self of you were yesterday, and say, oh, I did it that way yesterday, but I choose it to do it this other way, without having to go into the judging what you did wrong before. Just move into the new action you want to do, the new way you want to do it. And that will take you because whenever you're judging yourself, you are far away from the frequency of love. And as you go away from the frequency of love, experiences when love is absent is what you get, and you don't want that. You don't want that. You want to really be in this state where you can feel the love and you can give it. So yeah, judgment and discernment, very key. And I don't know how you are working with the people and your audience, but I will say to all of the ones listening that there are many resources out there. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. And the teacher can be something as simple as silence, as a leaf falling, as a moment of sadness. Everything can be your teacher when you are ready to when you become a student. So there are resources in YouTube, guided meditations, things that can take you places. There is also many healers like me that are creating content. I have a podcast called You Are It. And I'm telling you, these things we're discussing today, this is what I discussed there. But then I use my very science-based kind of thinking, and then I bring in between my intuition. It's kind of, I'm having fun with it. So that I think that has been useful for many people based on the feedback I have received. So I I invite you to go and check You Are It podcast. And some healers like me too have different options, because we know this is a time of so deep change that we all need help in this process. So, for example, with me, people can book donation-based, can do donation-based booking. So it's like, and many of the healers I know, they just do healings for free. Sometimes people just need to approach them, and so many things are out there. If you don't feel you can address something because you don't have enough resources, oh my goodness, be open to be vulnerable and to reach out, and you will find what you need in this process. It's just about you stepping to take action in what you feel you need in this moment. So there is a lot of things you can do. Yeah.
So true. Yeah, being open-minded, it's a very big thing you can do. Just a simple mindset change makes
Indeed.
huge difference in people's lives. Yeah, it's so wonderful. Thank you so much, Alejandra. That was beautiful. I'm writing everything down, some of your beautiful ideas. I'm gonna start practicing today. So I'm gonna start practicing. I practice gratitude, and definitely I see the difference in my life and how I affect other people around me. So, but I'm definitely gonna practice some more of those beautiful, wonderful ideas that you're giving us here. Thank you so much, Alejandra. That was wonderful.
Thank
And
you.
I'll be looking forward to into your website. I'm gonna check it out definitely, and definitely our listeners will benefit from that as well. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
taking the time to being with us today, and have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you very much. You take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.